I just want to acknowledge some of the people that were foundation members of the Charter. So about 3 years ago, it was decided that we needed a united body of people to get together with the aspiration of rebuilding the city with no fatalities and reducing the number of people that are getting hurt or harmed in work that we do that we know is dangerous in an ever-changing environment, often in an outside subject to weather and snow and all sorts of other effects. So the aspiration was huge, and the idea was formed within Worksafe, what was then the Department of Labour, and the Business Leaders Safety Forum. Leslie Haynes was the initiator of the idea, and she contacted these people to put together the very beginnings of this organisation. 3 of these people are here tonight. So Helen Kelly would love to have been here, but many of you will know that she's sick and she didn't feel well enough to travel today, which is really sad. Hopefully you would have heard the very, very good interview that she did with Mark Sainsbury yesterday on ZB. Just an insight into the lady, and her courage and her commitment is extraordinary. So firstly, really is to acknowledge Catherine, and I know, Catherine, you are a little bit shy on these occasions, and I'm sure you're sitting well down the back. Oh no, there, okay. But Catherine, you have been an inspiration to us all, and I remember meeting you in a coffee shop in Riccarton and wondering quite what I had encountered. But soon she got into the job and was encouraging us and geeing us up and driving the direction for us forward and establishing the 10 commitments that we've all signed up to. And I knew within a very short time that together Catherine and I were going to be a great partnership. And she provided leadership and direction for the steering committee. A bundle of fun. I've really enjoyed working with you, Catherine. Impassioned. You wear your heart on your sleeve, but isn't it lovely to have a real person driving that commitment? So fantastic. Then Bruce Empson. Bruce I got to know really well because he was representing the Earthquake Commission on the home repair program that Fletcher is running, Fletcher EQR. And I was laughing that Bruce and I have got bruises on our foreheads from a few clashes that we might have had on that program. But Bruce had come from the Business Leaders Forum where he was the chair, and he realised that we needed this organisation to ensure that the extrapolation of deaths that we were having in the industry meant that I think Bruce's calculation was about 30 deaths across the number of worker hours that were likely to be involved in the rebuild. And so Bruce gathered around him some very opinionated and influential people that included Duncan Gibb, who was heading SCIRT at the time, and Andrew Confey from Hawkins. These senior leaders put their hands up really early on to address the concerns about the rebuild's health and safety potential. While we were many organisations all doing great work, particularly in the Rebuild Health and Safety Forum and in Safe Rebuild, there was a lack of collective engagement by senior leaders on rebuilding Canterbury safely. Bruce, Duncan and Andrew were the first among a handful of senior leaders who gave their time and thought to the development of the Charter when funding was needed to ensure the Charter would be launched successfully. They and we all dug into our organisation pockets to get the whole thing set up. Bruce and Duncan in particular led the work to support the signatories to improve Charter performance, and they co-chaired the Charter Performance Working Group and led work to develop the Charter Organisational Assessment Tool and the other support we provide to help signatories improve their Charter performance. Today, the assessment tool has 267 assessments from 164 charter signatories, and all that data in aggregate is available to you, the signatories, but we use that useful data to develop our programs for improvement. Andrew was also key to the development of the Charter. He provided a key link between the leadership and the Charter Performance Working Group, being on both groups as well as the steering group. His advice has influenced the development and research and tools to support signatories to improve their health and safety leadership and Charter performance. He got us the wonderful launch venue in the Cathedral Square Novotel long before it was officially opened, and when he needed to get workers and unions to consider their support for the Charter, Andrew was key. He got the workers to the meetings and was one of the key leaders engaging with them to help them understand why the work of the Charter was needed. So Duncan, Bruce and Andrew were in the room and provided input into the drafting of the Charter and the Charter performance standards. They are committed to their organisations, Earthquake Commission, SCIRT and to Hawkins. However, it was Catherine, who recently moved on from her role as Director of Worksafe's Canterbury Health and Safety Program, who enabled the key organisations to develop something they could all sign up to. Catherine has been pivotal in the development and success of the Charter, and we are all indebted to her and her contribution to the safe rebuild. Catherine worked closely with Helen Kelly. This was a bit of a surprise to us, to develop a program of work focusing on engaging with workers on health and safety and the Charter. And as part of this work, the Safety Officer Libby Carr has engaged over 2,000 workers on 60 sites, with over 700 workers completing a health and safety survey. The steering group has reviewed today a report based on the survey results and the 3 focus groups held. And this report will be published by the Charter soon and will continue to inform the Charter's work program. Finally, Helen Kelly, who has recently stepped down as President of the CTU and is a member of the Charter Steering Group. Helen joined the Charter Steering Group prior to the CTU endorsing the Charter, and I remember she was really careful to ensure that the CTU signed up on terms that would have real meaning both to the Charter and to the workers. She led discussions with workers around their views on whether the CTU should sign up to the Charter. The Charter has union involvement, and in all the working groups and on the steering group. It provides a really good model of tripartite engagement where all interested parties can work together to support a common goal and a safe rebuild of Canterbury. And I have to say that a considerable amount of our performance now has a lot to do with the bottom-up approach involving workers, engaging with them, hearing their views, and managing our initiatives to make sure that they are involved. The Charter is a far stronger for having the unions at the table and for your significant leadership. Helen, you're not here, but we really thank you for your involvement. So TTT Products Christchurch Limited. Cook Brothers Construction Limited, Dave Bulling. Thanks, Dave. Upright Scaffolding Limited, Nick Fillert. Proceed Building Limited, Ian Mayer. Collective. Workspace. Smart Sparks, Mark Pringle. M2 Developments, Matt Annick. APR Architects Limited, Percy Damien Lopez, Traffic Control Systems Limited, Roger Powley, WSP Group, Graham Smith, Tonkin and Taylor, Peter Cochrane, Compass Homes, Yolanda Mintram, Bowers Builders Limited, Amanda Bowers, Peddlethorpe, Brad Luke, thanks, Brad. And two new endorsees are Cosman Parks and iTrack.